Hello everyone, I've got another brochure to look through today. This is a Hoover floor care brochure from the late 80s. I would say this is probably from 1989, 88 at a push, but looking at this Sensotronic System 500 that I believe was launched in 1989, that's when I'm going to date this video from. So we've got the Hoover Can Handle It strap line. They dropped the Hoover Who Better, which came before this in the earlier 80s, and now we're on to the late 80s. We've still got the Queen's seal of approval. So let's go through this brochure. Lovely jubbly. Hoover, some of you might know, are my favourite vintage brand. I don't like Hoover now because the Hoover that printed this brochure and made the cleaners inside the brochure do not exist anymore. The Hoover that we can buy in the UK and Europe is now Chinese owned and Chinese made. So don't expect to see the likes of these again unless you watch my channel, because inside this brochure I'm sure I've got many of the models that are featured, and you can look at those on my Hoover playlist if you wish to do so. So we have 18 pages of Hoover goodies, starting with a blurb about carpet care, which is here. We've got Hoover Turbomaster uprights coming, Hoover Turbo Power uprights, Hoover Sensotronic suction cleaners, Hoover Compact suction cleaners, Hoover portable cleaners, Aquamaster and Aquatronic cleaners and wet and dry cleaners, Hoover Sprite and Jet cleaners, they're the budget range, and Hoover shampoo polishers, and then the specifications at the back. So we've got some blurb from Hoover here. Before you choose a new vacuum cleaner for your home, spare a few moments to consider the different types available. This brief guide will help you to make the right choice. Easily the most important factor to consider is your floor coverings. If your home is mainly carpeted, the choice is simple. A Hoover upright cleaner is undoubtedly the best way to take care of your carpets. You'll find Britain's best-selling Turbo Power and Turbomaster ranges in this brochure. If, however, you have a mixture of floor coverings and need all-round-the-house versatility, then you might consider a suction cleaner, notably the sophisticated Sensotronic range and the remarkable high-powered Compact range. Then there are the stylish Hoover wet and dry cleaners designed to clean outside as well as inside the home, and the Aquamaster and Aquatronic 3-in-1 cleaners will shampoo as well. Portable handheld appliances make a very useful second cleaner to work in restricted spaces such as car interiors, stairs, cupboards and the like. Whichever type of cleaner you think is right for your home, make sure it is a genuine Hoover cleaner made by the company who for 80 years have been the first name in floor care throughout the world. And remember, whichever type you choose, Hoover can handle it. So we're about to see some very lovely 80s cleaners. Here's the Turbomaster Activator. Hoover are recommended by Axminster Carpets in this brochure, and we've got the famous Hoover roundel cut off in its prime. I wonder if we'll get the other half on the next page. We haven't, but we do have the full range, excluding the electricity board exclusives, of course. Oh, this has been marked. Blimey, have I done this? Possibly, because this is my brochure I'd have picked up. So I've earmarked for some reason the top of the range, and I've got that model. I've got a few of those actually. The U5096 Turbomaster electronic total system, so you'll have seen that on my channel. This is the total system, well that's the electronic, which has the electronic speed control and automatic cord rewind, and this is the cleaner with a single speed motor and the manual cord rewind. So I have owned that one in the past from brand new. In fact I've owned all of these. Yes, I have to say I've had all of these machines from brand new. I still have this, well it's not the original, but I did manage to get some new old stock Turbomaster electronic total systems, so I still have a couple of them. Never got another one of those, but yes, I have a video of a service video that I made in the 80s or the early 90s. That's on my channel somewhere, because a friend of mine, her mother, bought one of these, so I showed how to change the belt, etc. So yes, I own that from you. That's my favourite. I'll explain in a minute why. So I've had the U5080 Turbomaster electronic. It's basically the same as this, but without the attached tools. And again, yes, I've had this model as well, the basic hardbag version, basically the same as this, but without the electronic control and automatic cord rewind, and the softbag version, and I own that from brand new. I have got that again second hand. In fact, I've got two of those second hand. I've never been able to find the Turbomaster electronic again. That is my favourite Turbomaster. I've always preferred the look of the non-tools attached Turbomasters and found they were slightly better when using the cleaning tools, because you attach them here via this tool port and plug the tool in, and I think they had slightly more suction power than the tools attached models. And here's the cleaning toolkit you could buy as an optional extra, with this squared off converter piece that plugged straight into the machine. When you push down on the back of the converter on the machine, you'd pop the hose in and Bob's your uncle. And then here we've got a close-up of the electronic speed control and the very 80s looking digital display above the headlight. Obviously it wasn't an LED display, it just used the light from the bulb to illuminate the setting that you had the 4-position height control on. A lot of vacuum cleaner enthusiasts will prefer the older machines, the seniors, etc. for carpet cleaning. The Turbomaster was the equivalent of the senior. It was a larger machine, similar to the Turbo Power, but with a more powerful motor and a wider swept path. So the Turbomaster was like the senior, and the Turbo Power was more like the dirt searcher, really. And yeah, it's the 80s. A lot of plastic, very little metal components nowadays in these machines, but I have a soft spot. Well, I have a soft spot for 70s Hoovers and 80s and some 90s machines, but from the 2000s, they, especially when they started making them in China, they did go downhill. But I'm so glad I've got such a wide selection of older machines, and you can see those on my channel. So here we have, I don't know, have I done this? It's not like me to defile brochures. Turbo Powers, and again I think I prefer the Turbo Powers without the attached tools, but this was becoming a thing, and until Turbo Power 2 came along to add the tools, Hoover just took the existing machines and just bolted on the tools and put the converter, so you'd slide the height control to the tool setting and it would block off the suction from the head and divert it through the hose. So let's see, out of these, I certainly had this one. I've got that again. I bought it again. You've seen this on my channel in the sort of lilac colour, and I had this from brand new. I've featured that on my channel, my original one, for a very old video, the U2604. But I have got that again, and it's almost mint. Trouble is, it's broken at the back box. It's broken underneath, so I need some very strong glue to fix it. I haven't been able to source a colour matched back box for this machine. Apart from that, the machine is almost mint. I've half made that video, but I was hoping to show you it again once it's glued. I can't remember what the stuff is. I've got some. There's some very, very strong glue, and it won't show because it'll be glued internally. But yes, I've managed to get that again. I don't think I ever had this particular colour scheme, the Turbo Power Plus. So this is Turbo Power Plus range. So this is probably 3rd generation. I've had this on the soft bag version, and this one I've never had this particular colour. Very attractive. I don't know what the colour scheme is of that, but I didn't have those. I've had that one. Definitely had that, but not these two in those colours, and I've had both of these, and still, yes, I still own those two, but not the original ones. But I do have an example of both of those. And then, oh, the Sensotronic, the 1989 Sensotronic, the boxy style, including the talking model. There is a little video of that on my channel. In fact, there's an unboxing video of that on my channel. An unboxing video that I filmed in June 1989. Now, somebody surmised that that's possibly the first unboxing video filmed. I don't think it was. I believe there was something filmed in 1977. But it is possible that my unboxing video, recorded in 1989 for this cleaner, is possibly the first vacuum cleaner unboxing video. If you know different, comment below. But it's certainly long before the internet, long before YouTube. I was filming videos for my pen pal and her sister, which included quite a lot of vacuum content. So yeah, that is on my channel, unboxing that cleaner. And then there's a silly video that came a little bit later. I don't have that. I sold that. I held on to it for quite some time and I sold it. I totally regret selling my talking Sensotronic. Alongside the talking model that was featured on Tomorrow's World and got some press attention, we do have the also rans here. And out of these cleaners, in fact, we're missing one. Let me just, this model here. This is Total System 400. It's funny, it's Total System 400, but they don't show it with a Turbo 300 powerhead. So, out of these, oh, lovely, lovely cleaners. I had quite a few of them. And if I'd still had them, oh, crikey. So I had System 100, which was lovely blue colour, the base model, electronic control, had the sensor system. It was a foot-operated doodah. In fact, I don't know if I put that up. I might have put it up. If I haven't, well, I'll do it at some point. I did make a little short video of my System 100. So that's a base model, plastic wands. And then System 200, I never had that one, as far as I remember. And I didn't have this lovely red System 300. I did have, and still have, although it's not the original, I do have a Total System 500, but if you've seen that video, the hose was completely ruined. I can't actually use that without an operational power hose. So I had the audio system, I had System 500, System 100, and out of all of them, I did like the talking aspect. But I think my favourite was Total System 400. So basically this machine was a System 200 but with a power hose and the Turbo 300 power head, but it didn't have the remote control. You still had to control the machine via your foot. Instead of a slide control on this, it had push buttons, plus and minus, and a digital display. And we can see on this page we've got hose storage clip. That's actually showing a telescopic wand, which was never supplied with the UK versions. It was supplied with some versions sold in Europe, but not UK versions, not from this range. It came with a two-piece wand set, either metal or plastic. It was only plastic by the looks of this on System 100. It was metal on all the others. Then you've got the large bag, the digital power display, the 360-degree swivel top hose, the remote control hand grip that was available with the Audio 300 and the Total System 500, the tool storage, that's the Turbo 300 head, air freshener was standard on all models. So that's the flagship cylinder range from Hoover. And then we have the compacts, which were for people who didn't want to spend quite so much money, maybe had a smaller home, wanted something smaller and lighter. I've had most of these. I don't know if I ever got this particular version. I certainly had a compact electronic total system, but it was in a lighter blue. Again, that's on my channel somewhere. One of my very old videos, recorded long before the internet, where I'm showing a selection of the Hoover cleaners I had. The compact electronic, I might have had that one as well. I've had so many. But the one I had was the first version, which was a slightly lighter blue colour. But that was great because it had, you know, it was a more compact cleaner, but it had the Turbo 300 head, which I did like. Then we've got the Super. I do have a compact Super on my channel, but it's the version before this, which was in a darker brown colour. I've got a couple of versions of this electronic model. This is the SC710. In fact, I've just recently got one at the time of filming this video, but you've not seen that video yet. And I did question the wands. I thought it came with metal wands, but as I can see from this brochure, it did actually have plastic wands. But there certainly was a version of the compact electronic that had metal wands as standard. I've shown you this model on my channel fairly recently. So this is the bottom of the range without automatic cord rewind. I also had the first generation. So these cleaners are the second generation of the second generation compacts. The first generation of the boxy style generation compact, the basic model was sort of a, well, it was more this colour actually, but it was sort of, I think it was more grey buttons. Well, it didn't have this automatic cord rewind, but it was more, yeah, it was more of a beigey colour anyway. But I remember buying that. It was when I bought it from Alder's department store in Croydon, and it was when I was staying down south after I'd moved up north. So I did bring that back from Sussex to Yorkshire on the underground and on the intercity train. So I had to carry that along with my other bags. But yes, I managed it back in the day. I'm too old for carrying vacuums on the London Underground nowadays, and with the internet we can just have them delivered to our door. So that's the compact range for those who didn't want the sophisticated features of the Sensotronics, or on a budget and couldn't run to that sort of price point. And then let me see. Yes, pretty sure I've got every cleaner on this double page spread, and I think you've seen most of them. So we've got the double duty, two versions of the double duty. Although, yes, there is two versions on here. I think towards the end they just had one version. This is the S1103 and S1105 double duty and double duty deluxe. So the deluxe version, I believe, came with these extra tools and extended operating power. So I think it had a longer running time than this one. I think this sold for around £30 maybe, and maybe 30 and 40. I can't remember the price difference. But yes, it was okay for the time, I suppose. And here we have the Porter Power 800. There was a Super 800 in Burgundy that incorporated two wheels at the back and a swivel caster. Again, I had that from new, sold it, wish I hadn't, but I do have that one. Again, it's not the original, but I managed to get another one of those. I've got the dustette. So this is the later plastic bodied dustette. I think at this time it was made in Britain. The first version was a sort of brown colour. This is the grey with pink highlights. And then the brush vac. Very good little machine. Always reminded me of a mini Hoover Junior. And the dust vac. So yes, I've shown you double duty, and I've certainly shown you all these cleaners on my channel in the past. We're into multifunction territory now with the Aquamaster and the Aquamaster Electronic. Again, I've got both of these cleaners I've shown you on my channel. The more recent one I've shown you, I believe, is the Aquamaster Electronic. I certainly had this machine from brand new. We used it to clean up after dogs. When we used to breed the dogs and the puppies used to run around the living room peeing everywhere, we had the Aquamaster for that. And I don't know if I ever owned, I'm not sure if I ever owned that from brand new, but I did get an almost new looking Aquamaster Electronic, and I've featured that on my channel. You can just search on my channel page, Hoover Aquamaster, and you'll see the many Aquamasters I've shown you. And then on this side, we've got a very small picture of the Aquatronic. Again, I had that machine from brand new, and when I bought the Aquatronic from the Victoria House department store in York, it was £230, which was a lot of money back then. And again, I sold it. I did manage to get another one. You might have seen that video on my channel, but it's got things wrong with it and I can't use it for shampooing or wet pickup without trying to fix it. I've tried to find spares for it, but they're very hard to get hold of, especially because the Aquatronic was made by another company. I think it was Clean Fix made it, so it's very difficult to get spares for that. But I still have it, and one day, hopefully, like the Sensotronic System 500, I'll be able to get it working. And then if I do, of course, I'll show it in action on my channel. And then we have the Aqua Plus wet and dry cleaners. I had this electronic version from brand new, bought it from a mail order catalogue back in the 80s. And I don't think I ever had the Aqua Plus, the smaller 1700 version, brand new, but I have got that again, and I've featured that on my channel. I managed to find one second hand. The next double page spread features some very basic budget priced cleaners for the first time buyer, and still going, the Hoover shampoo polisher. Hoover called the Jet and Sprite cleaners their big value cleaners because they were very basic and at an entry level price point. The Sprite is based on a Hoover Turbo Power chassis. Quite good performance. Again, there is an old video of me. I think it was from 1989 when I show you a Sprite I got for my birthday. I probably bought that myself. But yes, very bog standard. It was a bottom fill. It took the old style Hoover Junior bags that you had to attach with the band, and it was a bottom fill. Had this sort of old style Hoover Junior handle. And again, speaking of Hoover Junior, we don't have the Hoover Junior anymore, do we? We don't have the U1040. That had gone. So this was basically a Hoover Junior, really, the cheapest Hoover upright. Not even a height control, quite noisy, but it was pretty efficient for carpet cleaning, very light. There wasn't even a pedal to release the handle. You just pulled the handle back. So very bare bones machine, pretty rare now. I do have a similar one, the Hoover Turbo Power Junior, quite similar to this, the basic Hoover Turbo Power Junior. The jet cleaners came in two models. We've got the twin speed 1000 watt and the single speed 800 watt. I can't remember if I've got both of these. I've definitely shown you a jet on my channel. It's possibly the twin speed one, but again, I can't remember if I've got both. I might have both, but I certainly did have both back in the day when these were brand new. I said I had all these when they were brand new. So the jet was just sort of very similar to a Goblin machine available at the time. So bagless, these tended to overheat and the motor housing would sort of distort, and Hoover brought out a modification kit that the engineers would fit in case people came back. So if you didn't keep these very clean and emptied, they would overheat pretty quickly. Because basically, and you can check back on my jet video to see inside these, it was basically just a bag, well, a container, bagless container, with a sort of cloth filter. I think it might have been two-piece filter over the motor. So everything got sucked in and was attracted to the filter and just blocked it really quickly. I quite like that. Very basic nozzle, but it was quite good to my recollection. And I think the 800 watt version had less tools with it. It might have not had a dusting tool, whereas the 1000 watt machine, I think, did have extra tools. It might tell us on the specification what tools were provided. The Hoover shampoo polisher and the much harder to get polisher have been available for many years. I think this particular design was launched in the 70s, so it's still basically the same. These were made in France. Yeah, it still says, I can just see made in France on them. So I've shown you a shampoo polisher. I think there was a later version. I don't know if this is the latest version in this sort of beige colour. There's definitely a white version which I've shown on my channel. I'm not sure which came first, the white or the beige. I've got some Hoover brochures from 1990. I can't remember if the shampoo polisher was in the 1990 brochure. It might have been. But yes, I had, my first shampoo polisher that I bought new was in the early 80s, and it was basically the same as this. It's the cream and brown one. Now I have got a new one in the box of those. I don't know if you've ever even seen that. It's a very old video. I don't know if I've uploaded it yet. But yes, I have an unused one of these. Plus I've got the white. I've shown you the white one. But yes, that's survived for many years in different incarnations. But yes, it was an alternative to the sort of Aquamaster and Aquatronic. So you could shampoo carpets with it, but it had the scrubbing brushes and other brushes and pads to scrub floors and polish your furniture. Came with lambswool pads, although this version, they were synthetic by then, but the earlier versions had lambswool pads and waxing pads and all sorts. So quite useful if you had lots of hard floors to clean and polish. On the final double page spread, we've got all the specifications here, starting with the suction cleaners. So you've got all the models, the model names, all the wattages. So the highest wattage on a suction cleaner from about 89 was 1200 watts, down to 800 watts for the basic jet. Then we've got the wet and dry multi-system cleaners, the Aqua Plus, Aquatronic shampoo polisher. So it's 850 watts, was it? Oh, Aqua Plus was 850 watts. 800 watts for the Aqua Plus 1700. On the Aquamaster, 1050 watts. Aquatronic 1100 watts, and the shampoo polisher 160 watts. And then we've got the Hoover uprights here, with 575 watts being the most for the Turbomasters, down to 400 watts for the Sprite machine. And then the handheld machines, we've got 800 watt porta power, 150 watt dustet, 250 watt brush vac, 110 watt dust vac, and of course the double duties were battery operated. And we've got all the features, well, not all, the main features, showing which cleaners had different tool storage, variable speed control, air fresheners. A lot of the cleaners did have air fresheners back in those days. In fact, all the suction cleaners, apart from the jet, had the air freshener feature. And in the upright cleaners, the air freshener was across the board, apart from the base model Sprite. To finish this trip down memory lane, we've got the back page telling you about Hoover's after sales service, and obviously the new strapline Hoover can handle it. Got a picture of the Autoflex Turbo Power Plus, Sensotronic System 500, and the Aqua Plus 2200. So there you go, that's the end of my video on this Hoover floor care brochure. I'm going to date it at 1989 because I'm sure that's when the boxy Sensotronics were launched. Of course, this is just the mainstream machines. There were exclusives available. The electricity board would have had exclusive models of turbo powers and compacts, I expect. And other exclusive versions were available from selected retailers and mail order outlets. But this is the sort of mainstream range of Hoover cleaners you could buy from most retailers that sold them, or often you could order them if they didn't have a particular Sensotronic you wanted. You'd be able to see the Hoover demonstrator in that shop and say, can I order this model please that you don't stock, and often they would be able to. So there you go, a nice trip down memory lane for me. I hope it was for you, and I'll see you all very soon for another brochure video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.